Well, it's not a Pittsburgh post game, but it's still a game night here on Pittsburgh Sports Live. Welcome to episode 2 of the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff. I'm your host and your quiz master, Matt Gajtka, and yes, I'm wearing a tie in my attic. If you missed episode 1, here are the rules. A sports media pro from the Pittsburgh Sports Now universe squares up against a courageous fan challenger, and they'll both take a crack at my lineup of 11 Pittsburgh sports trivia questions. If our fan challenger can beat the pro, he or she will receive a $25 gift card to Burgatory, plus a free 3-month subscription to one of our Pittsburgh Sports Now affiliated sites. So let's meet our cast of characters for tonight's encore. Our second Pittsburgh Sports Live pro to jump into this ring is the Pittsburgh Sports Now beat reporter and also an all-around sports journalist. His name is Alan Saunders, and he covers both Pitt basketball and Pitt football for PSN. Alan, thanks for joining us, and thanks for following up. You have a lot to live up to after Mike's victory last week.
Yeah, I talked a little trash on the internet too, so I've got a lot riding on this. You got to put the stakes somewhere here.
Yeah, let's raise the stakes, definitely. And it's more than just pride on the line here tonight. Let's give a kind PSL welcome to Alan's fan challenger, coming to us from Northern Virginia right now, where he lives with his family. His name's Sean Forman, and Sean's a born and raised Pittsburgher, also a graduate of Woodland Hills High School. As I mentioned, currently near our nation's capital, but he keeps connected to his hometown via his blog, Sean's Ramblings, which you might have seen online. Also on Twitter, he goes by Sean's Ramblings. So, Mr. Foreman, thank you for joining us.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks, Matt.
We're glad to have you. I know you're all cooped up with your family, 3 kids. You got a cat running around, so we want to give you a bit of a respite from the quarantine stress and give you an outlet here for some of those emotions and those pent-up energies that you have. So here are the ground rules, gentlemen, and for those of you watching for the first time, same as last week, though. We'll start with a series of 5 questions worth 1 point each, then 5 worth 2 points each, then a special final face-off question on which you can wager as much of your point total as you wish. This is important now. The contestants will say their name to buzz in after I finish every question. Premature buzz-ins will be ignored. Also, there are no penalties for missed questions. I want to encourage folks to take guesses, so if the first player to buzz in misses, the second player, gets a free shot at that question before we move on. All right, I'll play referee Mills Lane and say, let's get it on here. Let's start with the 1-point questions, and we'll begin in the world of baseball. While longtime Pirates fans might argue that Elroy Face or Kent Tekulve are the greatest back-end relievers in team history, neither one holds the team's single-season save record. I'm asking you, can you name the former Bucco All-Star right-hander who once recorded 51 saves in a year for the Black and Gold?
Sean,
go ahead.
I'll go Joe Hanrahan.
That is incorrect. Alan Saunders, a chance to steal the points.
Jason
5
Grilli?
seconds. Sorry, go ahead.
Jason Grilli?
No, you are also incorrect. The answer is Mark Melanson, 51 saves in 2015 for the 98-win Buccos. All right, so we stay on my official scorecard, scoreless through round 1. Let's move on to football. The Steelers have participated in 3 tie games since overtime was introduced by the NFL in 1974. They actually had the first OT draw ever against the Broncos that same year, and they also tied the Browns, you might remember, 2 years ago. But maybe the most memorable of those 3 ties was the one right in the middle, as the 2002 Steelers blew a 17-point lead at Heinz Field to which team?
Alan,
Go ahead.
the Atlanta Falcons.
That is correct. Michael Vick and the Falcons came back to tie 34-34 against Tommy Maddox and the Steelers. Alan gets the first point. Draws first blood with my blood red Sharpie. Moving on to question number 3. Since Sean's down in the D.C. area, let's get the Capitals into the mix, why don't we? The Pens and Caps have met 11 times in the Stanley Cup playoffs, with the Pens taking 9 of those matchups, and to boot, they've gone through Washington for each of their 5 Stanley Cup victories. The 2 teams have been in existence together in the Eastern Conference since 1974, but which year marked their first ever playoff matchup?
Sean,
Go ahead.
1991.
That is correct. 1991, the first Pens Cup run also coincided with the first Pens Caps collision. So there you have it. 1-1 through 3 rounds. Back to football, but of the collegiate variety for question 4. In November 1999, it was the end of an era atop Cardiac Hill as the Pitt football team closed 74-year-old Pitt Stadium with a touchstone 37-27 victory against a traditional non-conference foe. On that autumn afternoon in Oakland, I'm asking you, who was the opponent?
Alan.
Alan, go ahead.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is correct. For our Pitt football beat reporter, I was hoping you would.
I got that one wrong. I was going to get heckled. I really needed to get that.
Okay, you defend your honor there. It is 2-1, Alan Saunders over Sean Forman, as we head to the final 1-point question. Also football, but we're going to go down the ladder a little bit more. Sean's alma mater, Woodland Hills, is usually at or near the top of the list of high schools with the most current alumni in the NFL, regardless of the year it seems. Which future Hall of Fame NFL tight end transferred into Woody High in 2006 for just 1 year?
Sean.
Ooh, that was close. I thought I heard Sean first.
Rob Gronkowski.
Rob Gronkowski is correct. So it's 2-2. We are tight through the end of the 1-point questions. Yeah, Rob just played one season after growing up in the Buffalo area. Played one season for the Wolverines and then moved on from there to Arizona. And of course, 9 years with the Patriots. And we're going to see how many years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, so 2-2, just like it was last week, in fact, before Mike pulled away from Conrad Waite. Let's do some 2-pointers, and let's go back to hockey. It might seem like a no-brainer now, gentlemen, but Jaromir Jagr wasn't considered the top prospect in the 1990 NHL draft. Fortunately for the Penguins, he fell to 5th 30 years ago in Vancouver. Along with Owen Nolan, Keith Primo, and Mike Ricci, which future Jagr teammate with the Penguins and fellow Czech countryman went ahead of Jagr in that draft? Five seconds. Sean, go ahead.
Robert Lang.
No, that is incorrect. Alan, a chance to steal. Five seconds. Need an answer.
No, I don't know it. I'm going to kick I do know it. I just can't think of it. I'm going to kick myself when I hear it.
Okay, the answer is number 2 to the Vancouver Canucks that year was Peter Nedved. Peter Nedved, 2nd overall. Pretty good group of top 5, though. All 5 guys ended up having nice careers in the NHL, just not as nice as JJ. All right, on to baseball again. The first 12 seasons at PNC Park were mostly dismal for the Pirates, as we know, but there were some bright spots, like in 2006. Yes, Jim Tracy's sinking ship lost 95 games, but the team did host the MLB All-Star Game, and Jason Bay challenged a Major League record for consecutive games with a home run. In how many straight games that May did Bay hit a dinger? Sean, go ahead.
Go 6.
It was 6, correct, and that's a 2-point boost for you. 4-2 is the score now. Our fan challenger takes the lead on Alan Saunders of Pittsburgh Sports Now. Okay, 3 questions to go before we get to the final. The Super Steelers arguably had their origins in the 1969 NFL Draft, when Hall of Fame defensive tackle Joe Green went 4th overall, then went on to win the League Defensive Rookie of the Year just a few months later. But before Chuck Noll got Mean Joe under his tent, which university did he attend?
Alan.
Alan, you're first.
North Texas.
North Texas, yes. The Mean Green, and that's where, of course, the nickname comes from. 4-4 is your score. Sean, did you know that one?
I did. I think Alan's got the faster internet connection there. He's beat me a couple times there.
It's been tight. You got him on one neck-and-neck battle, so you guys have been all over it. 4-4. 2 to go before the final. Back to hockey, but coaching this time. Ivan Hlinka made dubious Pittsburgh pro sports history in the fall of 2001 as he was fired as Penguins head coach just 4 games into the regular season and just after making the conference final the previous spring. Hlinka's successor, a former Penguin sharpshooter, went on to coach nearly 2 full seasons after that. Who was it?
Alan.
Alan, go ahead.
Rick Kehoe.
Rick Kehoe is correct. It was Palinka, Kehoe, Olczyk, Tarian. And that's the lineup there going through the lockout and into the Sidney Crosby era. Allen moves ahead 6-4. It's a great game tonight. I love it. I'm rubbing my hands together here, metaphorically speaking, in round 2 of the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff. Here comes a toughie, though. Question number 10. In the annals of Pittsburgh Pro Sports champions, the Triangles are seldom mentioned, but they won the championship of the short-lived World Team Tennis in 1975. They were playing matches indoors at that time at the Civic Arena. Which men's Grand Slam champion and good buddy of John McEnroe from back in New York headlined the Triangles in their title season? Sean, go ahead.
Jimmy Connors.
No, that's incorrect. He and John were actually rivals and did not play together.
That's the first I can think of.
In World Team Tennis. Okay, so Allen, a chance to boost your lead to 4 going into the final.
70s tennis is not my strength.
I had to have some fun with this one. I wanted to stump you guys.
I don't even know if I can hazard a guess.
Okay.
I've got nothing.
All right, the answer is the man with the Latvian heritage, Vitas Gerulaitis, the Australian Open champion, and he and John tore things up on the New York nightclub scene, apparently, from what I understand from a couple of interviews with Johnny Mack. But he helped the Triangles to the championship. On the women's side, it was Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley who was the big star. So you learned something there tonight, at least, even if you didn't get the final question correct. 6-4 is the score. Allen ahead going into our final face-off question. And just like Jeopardy, you can wager as many points as you have. So go ahead and make those wagers now as I give you the category, which is Pitt Is It. I'm asking for a number this week, so we're going closest to the pin rules, if you will. Whoever gets closest to it, doesn't matter over or under, whoever gets closest to the answer will win in the final face-off. We'll get those points added onto their total. If you're both tied for closest, then both of you will get the points. Okay, so here's the question. In the history of Pitt football, the Panthers have played 35 major college bowl games, including last year's Quick Lane Bowl at Detroit's Ford Field. Pat Narduzzi's team snapped a 4-game bowl slump that evening by beating Eastern Michigan. Tell me, though, how many of those 35 all-time major college bowl games have the Panthers won? Closest to the total collects the points, and you have 20 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Let's see the answer from Sean first, as he's the trailer going into the final face-off. Sean has 4 points. How much did you wager, first of all?
I wagered 3 points.
3 points. And how many games do you think the Panthers won out of those 35?
I said 19.
Okay, you're an optimist. You think the Panthers had a winning record, 19-16. You say 19. Allen, what did you wager?
Well, for it all, 6 points.
6 points, as you would expect from the Pitt beat reporter. But this one, I think, challenged you. So what was your answer?
14.
14. Okay. The answer is... It is 14. Exactly 14. Allen nails it. I did not expect that. So Allen boosts his point total to a final of 12. Sean drops down to just 1, but that final score belies the closeness of this game. There is your final. I'm going to give you gentlemen a round of applause here because I felt like that was an awesome showdown. Sean, thank you so much for joining us. And, your confidence in the Panthers was a little bit more than Allen's, I think, in this case.
Yeah, that was. I mean, listen, you draw the Pitt football question against the Pitt beat reporter. I think that's a case of bad luck more than anything there.
I thought that'd be a pretty good challenge for you, Allen. Did you actually know that, or was that an educated guess?
It was a very educated guess. I knew it was under 500, and I wasn't sure exactly where, but I was pretty sure I was pretty close.
Okay. Well, I tried to throw that Woodland Hills question for you there, Sean, so to even it out a bit. Hey, thank you again. And anything you'd like to say before we sign off here tonight? Thanks again. I know your blog, you still run that. You've been running that for a long time. How long have you been writing Sean's Ramblings?
I've been writing Sean's Ramblings for 15 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
When I had a little more hair then. Just a little bit.
You ever get to any Capitals games down there? I'm curious. Check out the Pens.
Well, it's fun. When I first freshman down here, I went all the time to Penn's games. It's really easy to get tickets, but now it's a little tougher to get, so I don't go as much. But when I go to Caps games, it's to see the Pens. So it's Pens games, not Caps games.
Okay. And what's it like in general being a Pittsburgh sports fan down there? Because I guess the other sports, not much of a rivalry at all. The Skins rarely see the Steelers. Pirates and the Nationals, maybe once in a while it gets a little heated, but that's about it. It's really all about Penn's Caps, isn't it?
For the rivalry, yeah, but there's so many Pittsburghs. You guys have known this from being down here. There's so many Pittsburghers down here, Pittsburgh sports fans. So, I mean, I remember going to a Steelers-Redskins game about 10, 15 years ago, and the Redskins had to go on a silent count in the second half because of the terrible towels waving. So, I mean, I'm not alone here. There's plenty of us down here.
I think I remember that. Wasn't that the Super Bowl year, 2009, maybe?
It may have been. It was
08.
Byron Leftwich came in the second half and led the Steelers victory. So.
Yes, Byron Leftwich, a fellow son of Marshall. He was definitely big time down in Huntington, and he was big time in that season. Yeah, 08, 09. I'm pretty sure it was that year when they went on to win it all. Well, Alan, I delayed your victory speech. I apologize for that, but I wanted to give Sean his platform here and thank him for coming on. Anything to say for your sterling performance here? You set a new record with 12 points, although the history of Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff is still relatively short.
Well, that means I was better than Asti. So yes. I feel good about that. And I feel good about the gauntlet laid down. 12 points. I don't know who's coming up next, which Pittsburgh Sports now family reporter or host is going to come on next. But 12 points, that's the challenge. See if you can beat it. And this is fun. And thanks for doing it, Matt. We had big plans for some post-game stuff, and then the game stopped. And I think this is a fun way to try to keep what we had planned going a little bit. And it's fun. So thanks for doing it. And challenge laid out, guys. See you can catch me.
Thanks again to, of course, you two for both Sean and Alan. This is Matt Gajtka saying goodnight, but I want to also let you know that you can join in the fun. You can be the next fan challenger. So reach out to me, Matt Gajtka, MattGajtka, on Twitter. Also, matt.gajtka@gmail.com if you'd like to participate in the next Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff. We're recording a whole bunch of them right now, obviously, as Al just said, while the games aren't going on. So we want to lay down a nice first season, if you will, of the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff. So plenty of spots available. Let me know. You think you can take on one of our pros? Well, come on and prove it. Good night. God bless, and we'll see you online.